So I think we can start. My name is Rocco, and I am the person replying to your email, usually. So the last time with Andrea, we had the possibility to discover some tools like an editorial plan or a module with contact for to collect contact of people. And this time we're going to do something different. It's going to be practical. So we're going to use the breakout rooms. I think you already used this tool with Sarah in the second lesson. And so the idea is to think about what is a place and how to tell stories about places. So I'm going to present myself. My name is Rocco, and my background is in local development studies. And I moved from northern Italy to southern Italy and in 2020 I organized my festival named Atomico. And since 2022, I'm working with Casanetua Le Monde del Grottole on social innovation, urban and rural regeneration, and especially with Wonder Grottole on the topic of sustainable tourism. So I want to start with you to think about what is a place. So the general definition of a place is a particular position, a point, or an area in the space. So basically, as you can see in the image, like the administrative division of countries or regions. But obviously, a place is more than that. It can be a village, a region, but also the places are related to emotion. They are the places where we live. And for example, in this picture, there is Grottole. That is the village where we have our project. And this is the village where some of you will come in May for the training. And so places are related with emotions. And for example, you have emotion related to the places where you grow up, or the cities where you studied or used to work. And a place is also a local ecosystem, so is an ecological community. And it means that a place is more than just an administrative division, but is also made of the landscape, the set of resources, and also the historical and cultural heritage. In this picture, there is Wonder B&B, that is the first bee house where it's possible to sleep with 1 million of bees. And this is a project we made in Grottole in southern Italy the last year. And this is a place that wasn't existing before. And we created this place that now is a place where people, they can come for bee therapy. So people, they can sleep there. Yes, Ella, like in May, we will visit also this place. So this place is is the result of an art residency. And so the local beekeeper of Grottole lived together with two designers from Milan, and they had the opportunity to discuss to design this first prototype of a place where people, they can stay together with bees. There are 10 beehives, so it means that almost more than 10 million bees, they live there during the spring and summer, because the number of bees is changing depending on the season. And this is a kind of project that is also related to the community, because the project was funded with a crowdfunding campaign and supported by the local community of Grottole. But places obviously are, so there is not a clear definition of places. And we are giving meaning to places, living in the places. I don't know if you ever heard about non-places. Is this idea? Yes, Alla, there is the website for Wonder Grottole, and you can there is a page dedicated to this project of the Wonder B&B. So I don't know if you can, if you want to write in the chat, like if it's the first time you heard about known places, or maybe you know this neologism. Okay. Thank you, Sania, for sending the link. So the idea of non-place comes from a book written by Marc Auger, that is a French anthropologist. And some example of non-places are motorways, hotel rooms, airports, basically all the places that they look the same all over the world. And so the non-places is the opposite of what Auger calls the anthropological place. So this is the place, the anthropological place, to according to Marc Auger, is the place that offers people a space to empower their identity and where they can meet other people with whom they can share social references. So this is really important. So a place is also the community of people living in the same places, and there are some values related to places. So in Latin, there is a word that is genius loci. That is, it means in English, the genius of the place. So every place has unique qualities, and it's not just about landscape or how it looks, as we were discussing it before with some examples, but it's also about how the place is perceived. So what's special in that place? So places are really related to identities. So the community living in a place, but we don't have just we don't have just one identity related to places. So there are some studies that they say that we can imagine like ourselves related to places, like if it is an onion skin. So it means we can be part of our neighborhood, city, region, country, or continent, and we can identify with different places. So one element of places is the local culture. So knowledge, beliefs, arts, morals, and laws and custom. So in this picture, for example, we have a lady from Grottole, and she's making pasta. And for example, in Italy, each village has its own kind of pasta. I don't know if you know there is a YouTube channel named Pasta Grannies that is a really interesting project. So I think is a project made by an UK television, and they go to different villages in Italy and they show all the different kind of handmade pasta you can find, and they are really different because the most of them, they are disappearing because people, they are not teaching how to make this kind of pasta to other people. I know there is also Sania. I don't know if Sania wants to tell something about pasta making in the chat. Okay. Okay, Ivana. So pasta grannies is really interesting because they are preserving some local culture that maybe they can disappear. So a main example of local culture related to pasta is that in northern Italy, fresh pasta is made with eggs. In southern Italy, usually is not made with eggs, and this is due also to the kind of wheat we can grow. So it's really connected to places and to the weather and to the climate of the regions. Thank you, Sanya, for sharing the link to Pasta Grannies. So the main idea So I want to help you today to think about not just how to tell stories about places, but also on how to find the stories to tell. Telling stories is more related to transmitting an experience, and in my opinion, we should avoid a postcard narrative. What is really important is to find something authentic and really related to the identity of the place, so to the genus loci of the place. And I think all of you have projects in different places, and I think you already know what makes your place special. So today we are going to see two different case studies, and then we are going to have a more interactive part in the breakouts rooms, where you will tell some stories related to a place you feel connected with. So the first case study is the lost tradition of the ancient masks of Stigliano. I don't know. Do you know any example of masks like this in your home countries? You can write in the chat. So basically, these kind of masks they're really connected with the agropastoral culture, and they are spread all over the world, but especially in Europe, they look the same. But in this case, we will see this what happened this year in Stigliano. Stigliano is a municipality in Basilicata in southern Italy. You can see on the map as a huge territory. It's really big also because it's part of the Montagna Materana, so it's part of the mountains around Matera. And it's a place that is suffering from the population. It used to be a really important town, but now is less than 4,000 people. There are less than 4,000 people living there. But what happened in Stigliano is that since 2017, Stigliano hosts this festival named Appartengo, and is one of the most popular festival of public art in Italy. And this festival is organized by some people living in the village, with the aim to rediscover and tell stories about the village of Stigliano and also Basilicata region. And to do that, they host people, artists, in art residencies in this village. So the artists, they live there with the local community, and they find new ways to tell stories about Stigliano to the people in Stigliano. For example, like in the pictures you can see, there is like the shape of the church in a field. And this is like a really interesting project because the artist really wanted like to bring something from the countryside to the main church of the town, but was impossible. So the idea was to replicate the shape of the church in the countryside. And all of these kind of projects, also other project, they are murals, and they tell stories. For example, the legend of the dragon in Stigliano, that are stories that also the people living in the village, they don't know anymore, because maybe there are some elderly people that know this kind of stories, and the memory of this kind of stories is getting lost. So the artists, they are helping to maintain alive these the traditions and the local culture of Stigliano. So this year, for the carnival, in the months before the carnival, they hosted in residency the artist Dem Demonio, that had the idea to work on the two traditional masks of Stigliano. And so this year, for the first time since the 80s, in the carnival in Stigliano, they had some people wearing these traditional masks. And the tradition of these two masks was already disappeared. Like just few people they know about this kind of traditions. Um, I had the possibility to meet them and to discuss with him about the role of the artist in this kind of places. And what he says is that reviving carnivals and in general traditional festival makes possible to reclaim a part of the traditional culture uh, and to keep it alive for next generations. So the masks, there are two, and the one in the center is the tsimmaro, is a word that comes from Greek, and it is the male of the goat. And this is a mask that is really typical and is spread all over Europe because it's full of masks with goat horns. And this mask is wearing the milking apron, so the apron that the people living there they used to wear um, to work, and they usually they play some typical instruments. For example, the kupa kupa, that is the kind of the instrument the mask have like in his hands, and it's really typical in southern Italy. But they also play the cowbells. The other mask is the spica, so is the ear of wheat, and this is a really typical mask in Stigliano. There are not so many examples of masks like this, and basically this mask is made with this um, is a fiscella, so um, is usually is the container for ricotta cheese, but they put some wheat stalks in it, and then the dress is dark because the black is the color of typical of widows in southern Italy, but they also wear something floral. So in this case, this mask is really related to the change of season, and so is they play this cowbell like to drive away the winter spirits. Okay, I'm reading on the chat. I see you sent some messages. Okay, thank you, Natasha, for this link. And so the last part of this process. So for the first time, these two masks reappeared in the Carnival of Stigliano, and the last part of the celebration was to build this puppet, 3 meter tall, and and so at the end of the carnival, they set on fire this puppet. That was another tradition in the village. So what happened in Stigliano is that in the last decades, they continued to have a carnival, but they changed the kind of masks to be more because of the influence of other carnivals. And because of these art residencies, the most of the young people in the town they discovered these masks that they are really related to the territory and the culture of Stigliano. So also through the images and the pictures of this art residency, Stigliano has a new story to tell. And so the carnival in Stigliano, that is not one of the most popular in Basilicata, now is going to be part of the traditional carnivals of the region. And this is just because the people of Appartengo, the art festival, they really wanted to connect Dem Demonio, so the artist, with the two local historians that they were the last one to maintain the tradition. And so based on the work of this two historians, the artist was able to create and to revive these two masks. The other case study is the living culture in Grottole. In the picture, there is Silvio, that is one of the founder of Wonder Grottole, and is in his own cave, because in Grottole, also the name Grottole, it means caves. And the village of Grottole is full of caves. There are more than 700 caves where people, they used to live like 6,000 years ago. So it's a really old village. But then around the 2000, the 1000 people, they moved to the historical center of the village in Middle Ages. So in the village, there are a lot of these caves, and all the families, they own one, and they used to produce the wine and to keep the wine in the caves. So the caves, they are perfect for wine making because they keep the temperature always around the 15 to 18 degree. That is the ideal temperature for the fermentation of wine. And Silvio is working the fields and is producing wine. Is not selling wine because it's not easy in a small village to have the facilities to produce wine. In Grottole, all the families, they produce the wine, but just for their own consumption. And with Wonder Grottole, we have different experiences, and we continue to show people the tradition that they are still alive. So this is why we say living culture, but then we will discuss more about this. So Grottole is always in Basilicata region in southern Italy. Is smaller than Stigliano and is part of the Collina Materana, so it's part of the hills around Matera. In the village, the population is aging, and so people that they still live there, they work in Matera, that is the closest city, and they live in the countryside or in the modern part of the village. The historical center is almost abandoned. And with the aging population, the village is losing part of the tradition. So living culture refers to the practice of maintaining the tradition in a modern context. It means that for people in Grottole, it was normal to produce their own wine and to keep it in the caves. But nowadays it's more difficult because people, the modern lifestyle is not matching with this kind of lifestyle that used to be the lifestyle of elderly people living there. So the living culture is a way to preserve the community history, keeping alive the traditions. So the idea is to find new ways to keep the traditions alive. So to be innovative in this way, so to maintain the authenticity, but also to keep the traditions. So with Wonder Grottole, we developed different experiences. So we work with the local community, and for example, with Nisio, that is the last terracotta maker in the village. We have this experience with the wheel and people, they work the clay. With Silvio, we can visit the caves for wine. There is Rocco, that is a beekeeper, and he is really expert and passionate about bees. And is also the person that really wanted to build the Wonder B&B I showed you before. So we developed also other experiences with the oil mill, but we continue to develop new experiences with the local community to give more reason to people to learn traditions and also to transmit the tradition in an authentic way to people they come to visit the village. For me, this is really it's a really interesting process because it's really connected with what is known as the local ecological knowledge. So it means that so the local ecological knowledge is the mix of all the knowledge and the practices that they came from an extensive personal observation and interaction with the local ecosystem, and this is shared on the local community. So an example of local ecological knowledge is the terracotta in Grottole, because as I was telling you, at the moment there is just one person in the village that is working with terracotta, but actually terracotta grottole used to be known for terracotta in the past, and this tradition is at risk. But there is a reason why grottole used to be famous for terracotta. Is that grottole it's really close to a river, and there are some calanchi, so badlands, some hills made in clay. So it's really easy to go there to collect clay to use for terracotta making. And the people, they used to collect the clay in the same place where they used to cut the wood and to keep clean the environment, because they needed a lot of wood to set up the oven to cook to cook the terracotta. And this is really typical. But at the moment, also Nisio, that is the last terracotta maker, is not using terracotta from grottole. And he defines himself more an artist, because he found the possibility to work with terracotta, just selling to tourists some souvenir made in terracotta in Matera and not in grottole. So what we made is to look for someone with knowledge, with the local knowledge. And so we met 1 year ago Pasquale Di Lena, that is a man, is 85 years old, and is one of the last person that comes from a family of terracotta maker. And he has a really interesting story. So he used to work in manufacturing, because in the 50s, some industries arrived close to grottole. And when he was 40 years old, he decided to quit his job, to leave his job, to go back to the family tradition of working with terracotta. So it was really interesting, and to have this conversation with him, to interview him. And also we went to grottole. This man is not living in grottole, he lives in Matera. But we went together in grottole to see all the different places related to terracotta. So he showed us the places where to collect clay, the hiking to go from the place where they used to collect terracotta, the clay, to the ovens in the village where they used to cook the terracotta. And also he told us a lot of stories about the families producing terracotta in grottole. So all the different families, they were obviously in competition, but at the same time they developed this sense of community. So during spring, they used to put all the terracotta outdoor to sun dry before the cooking in the oven. And it was normal that to help the other people in case of rain, to remove everything from the street and to put it in a safe place. So we mapped all the different places related to terracotta in grottole. And now this is an experience that people that they decide to visit grottole, they can make. So we can show them all the different places, and we are trying to keep alive this tradition. Obviously, the next step we are working on is to find some people they want to learn the traditional techniques of terracotta, also in an innovative way, and to maybe to use terracotta for design, or for innovative material, in innovative design in architecture and interior design. So the idea for today is to think about a story, to tell a story about a place you feel connected with, and so to discuss, to tell other people what makes this place special for you. So the idea is that you have 20 minutes from now to work on it. If you want, you can write a story related to the place you feel connected with, and then you will share this story in the breaking rooms, in the breakout rooms. with the other people of your groups. I don't know how many people are connected right now, but I created 5 different breakout rooms. But maybe we can also use just 3 breakouts room. I think is a good number. Uh, Before going to the breakouts rooms, I want to be sure that what I'm asking you is clear, and I also want to help you to think about um, the story you want to tell about your place. In the 20 minutes, you have to think about your story. uh, I suggest you to focus on 3 aspects. So the first aspect is the place. So the place you so I imagine like if you have if your project is in a village, or maybe if your project is maybe related to a particular landscape, or is a restaurant, a place, you can decide what's the place you want to tell a story about. And what I suggest you is also to think about the local values and the culture of the place you want to tell something about. And the last part, but it's really important, is also to put in the story you want to tell the emotions you feel related to that place. So if you want, like you can use the chat right now to ask me more question about this part, and then we will you will have 20 minutes to work by yourself on this story. Okay, so if you want, you can start to join the breakout rooms I already created. There are 5 breakout room, but I think 3 are okay. So maybe we will have a group of 5 people, um, and then you will have 20 minutes to work by yourself, and then you will start to tell your story to the people in your breakout room. And I will enter in all the breakout room to listen and to give you suggestion on the story you are telling. Okay, Natasha, I can put you in the rooms. So Annalisa, so the idea was to use the groups of the last time, but I think that we are less than the last times. So maybe you can choose the room, and I will um, I will check if we have more or less the same number of people in all the rooms. I can move you in a different room is if maybe in some room there are less people. Okay, I think we are all in the main room. So I ask you if you're not speaking to put the microphone off. So who wants to start to tell a story about a place? No one?
Okay, Rocco, you're in charge, so ask someone to start.
Okay. So I don't know, Viviana, do you want to start?
Yes, so it's funny because I will speak, but I'm the one that doesn't have a place yet. But I do have some stories, let's say. With the group, I was telling that I feel that I would like to connect with a place that really feels mine, and I'm struggling because I've grown up in the countryside in the center of Italy, but my family is from Sicily, so I have a bit of a question mark between these two places. But I more and more growing fond of the area where I grew up, especially because of its history. Especially connected with the Etruscans, which are were a ancient population that lived north of Rome, basically. And since I was a kid, I felt very interested in their history and archaeological facts. And then there are a lot of anecdotes, funny anecdotes about me and and them. And I'm also an art historian, so I am very I studied that the archaeological and history of the civilization, and this has led me to also develop an interest in food culture from the area, starting from the Etruscans and the endemic plants, especially the olive oil plants that grow in Etruscan lands, which are olio di Evo Canino. So there are a lot of little things that make me feel that warmth that Rocco was talking about. And so I haven't pinned down a town yet, but it's basically closer to the Tarquinia and Tuscania, but it's very much connected with the history of the place and how is that I connected with it since I was a kid, and also all the mystery behind what the Etruscans as an ancient civilization did. And I would like to promote that history through maybe contemporary art.
Thank you, Viviana. Who wants to be the next? Otherwise, I can follow the list of the participants in the meeting. If no one wants to be the second one. Okay, so Annalisa, do you want to share? Okay, please, someone has to.
I can speak
Okay.
because I have a nice bridge to what Viviana was saying. Because I've been to Tolva a couple of times. Tolva is, I don't know if you know it, yeah, a small village, and there I learned about this civilization that I had never heard about before. So that was an interesting fact about that region, yeah. So that was really cool. My place that I would like to speak about is where I'm actually right now, and that is called. It is a social activation hub in the village of Silandro in South Tyrol in Italy. This place is called Basis. And it's in an old fascist military base, a huge area of 4 big buildings. And I'm now in one of the buildings where they have transformed it into a co-working space, but there's also a music venue. different meeting spaces. Tonight they make homemade pizza, and people from the village come over. For me, I've been living here in the last summer for a few months, and now again for 1 month. It's in the middle of the Alps, of the mountains. I come from Amsterdam, from the Netherlands. It's like a huge contrast. And I've learned, I come back to this place for a couple of times now already, and that's for a reason. First of all, this space has so much history, as it is an old military base, a dark history as well, that creates a lot of friction or discussion in the village. Like many of them, they want to get rid of this place and just want to build new apartment buildings. But the creative community, or at least the people that are connected to the space, they want to develop it further and see the potential of this for the village. So this interesting dynamic going on. But what I've learned also about, I don't know if it's South Tyrolean or it's connected to mountain villages, but the way they relate to each other, or I feel there's a very strong loyalty, like a value of loyalty. And I think it has to do maybe because of the mountains, people cannot leave, like physically. They are stuck with each other in this valley, in these different valleys that are also very different from each other. And therefore, even like in friendships, or maybe even in professional relationships, they have to deal with each other, even though somebody makes messes things up or acts like a lunatic. They have to go through this, and this creates some sort of very strong strong relationships in a way that's so different from a city. It has to do, of course, with the differences, small village and big city, also where the swipe culture is way more present, not even only just on Tinder, but also in relationships in general, maybe. So I found that very, very interesting. And then there's also the fact that they live together with all the generations in one house still. So grandma on the ground floor, and then in the middle, the next generation, and top the youngest, and then it moves down. So it's a more, that gives me a feeling that I can learn from these more maybe traditional values, you could say, but they also have a beauty in it. So yeah.
Thank you, Ella. Do you want to write the name of the place in the chat, so maybe other people they can look for it if they are curious?
Yes, I do that.
And Annalisa, do you want to be the next?
Yeah, sorry, I missed the moment of the mic. Well, the place I can tell about is the one where we are trying to activate this project that is called Acqua Santa Terne, and is a small rural, mountain village in the central Italy. And what it characterizes it, and why we feel this is like a place to tell and to have a story, is being an archetype of the central Apennines, because it's in an area that was hit by the earthquake in 2016, but that through that had a strong reaction, a sort of a new life that is coming on, because when you lose everything, you realize what else is left. So you start to think on what there is actually that makes a place special and unique, and what can be more attractive than saying it's a place where the earthquake has destroyed almost half of what was in the surrounding. And we reflected that the story that was missing is actually the water. So this is a place rich of water in terms of it's a thermal area. It also has a lot of waterfall. There are 2 rivers, and is really flourishing in nature and in the forestry because of the water. And is the only missing story about this place. So you can hear about the stories on the culture, on the destruction, on the need to regenerate, on creating new tourism paths, but is missing what is really characterizing the place. And this is also related to its history. So it was famous from the ancient Roman times, because they were there. It's along the so-called Salaria route, So it's one of the most ancient Roman routes. And it's also said that actually there maybe Romans were coming there because of the thermal bath. So we're trying to rediscover a bit this place and this story, and it's also something that I feel, but also with my partner with whom we are creating the project, we feel being our most interest, the topic of our most interest, that is the water and the future of life connected to water in mountain spaces. So why we think this place could be interesting and attractive in terms of telling the story of water in the Central Apennines. I've been a bit confusing, but I was trying to think on how to put things together.
Thank you, Annalisa. As for Ella, if you want to write the name of the place on the chat so people they can find it. So who wants to be the next? I cannot force you to tell a story about your place, and also we have just 15 minutes, so I ask you to be fast.
I can go
I will try.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I will try. So, I am Eva from Latvia. I'm living on a border side with Estonia. So we have a very weak internet connection, but I am trying to catch everything what is possible. So I'm living in a really rural territory and in historical 18th century manor house. A very beautiful place, but in one of the buildings, in the main building actually, in 2000 was a fire accident, and since this time we are trying, despite of all situation, to create a culture life around this place. And actually it's worked. It helps to do restoration work. It helps to activate local society. They are motivated to come and to come to activities, to come to help us in some workshops. So, and it's quite a big decision what to do in the future, because we are not so maybe like a warm country. It's not a popular destination for tourism, but it's a very natural environment, and all our surrounding is very I don't know how nice, restored, and a lot of things are in a process, and it's quite interesting to see a process of restoration as well. I am hoping to get some nice and soft ideas from all this education course. So that is shortly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Aniana, you can be the next.
Hey, so I don't know very well how to put it, because the place where I want to organize my project kind of found me. I wasn't looking for anything. I didn't have like a strong initial motivation to do a project on the countryside. I come from the countryside. I've been living in big cities for a long time, in Madrid and in Berlin. And I knew at some point I was gonna go back. And I was starting to feel the need, but some months ago I was in the middle of a big life crisis. I had like a very strong burnout, and I was like so tired and thinking a lot about my future. And couple of friends that live in the south of Spain, in the province of Granada, in a village, they invited me to stay with them just for a few days and rest and give me some support. They were really nice about it. And when I went to this place, this village, like everything, it was like, I don't know, serendipity. I found a place. I found the place happened to be very inspiring for different reasons. Like it had so much potential, and that's what triggered my idea. I mean, so the project I wanna do there, it almost felt like it was a need, like I had to do it, like, oh, this place is perfect because of these characteristics. I gotta do this, like it's not even an option. I don't know if I want to, or if of course I want to, but you know what I mean, like it's perfect, you gotta do it. So yeah, that's the story of my place. And historically, I mean, it's a very interesting village. It has like a very old castle. It has the typical structure, a castle on the top and then the village on the side, and it's next to the sea. It's also quite peculiar because everything around it is very touristic, but this village is not that touristic yet. So there's no that many big, ugly hotels, and there's still a lot of green stuff around the village. And yeah, it's beautiful. And what I like about it is that I think it has a lot of potential for things to happen. That's it. I'm done.
Okay, maybe if you write the name of the village, it's easier
Yes,
to
of
understand.
course, of course.
Thank you so much. I think Yanis. Okay. Oh,
Hello, do you hear me?
yes.
Oh, excellent. So I am Yanis. I am also as similar as Eva from Latvia. I am really living on the same direction, but not so far away. It's only 50 kilometers away from our capital. I used to live for many years in a capital, but now I moved to live like kind of forest land. So closest house from my house approximately half a kilo away. And that's for this reason I'm just thinking what to do in this small actually countryside. Actually, all region consists only on 1,600 people living in this region, and so we are really not so many. And actually, I realized that historically that the people used to cooperate a lot and doing a lot of things. For example, we have a build, actually not we, but they have a build like a central house for the all villagers. They also have built the church, but it was actually 100 years ago. But since Soviet Union times, that's afterwards people start to live somehow distant. And so I'm just looking for opportunities just to create such projects that everybody would be interested to be involved. And actually, I started what we are. We are from countryside, so actually everybody has some kind of their home product, what they could offer for another people. I just would like to create some possibilities how to easily offer these products to the another people around the country. It's very short. So the name of the village called Alaji. If you Google it, you will see it.
Okay, thank you, Yanis. I think Natasha is the first one.
Thank you. Um, I'm Natasha Nedanovska. I'm Macedonian language teacher. So I'm living in Ohrid. Especially, I'm working in my village household is in village Ramne, which is 3.5 kilometers from Ohrid. It's not so far. So what is special about my town? Ohrid is special city with enormous cultural and historical values, and it's protected by UNESCO so far. It's also called the Second Jerusalem due to the number of churches and monasteries, but they are not only looking from a Christian point of view, but also from the aspects of culture and history. One of the most important landmarks of Ohrid is Lake Ohrid, the oldest and cleanest in Europe. Above the lake rises the beautiful mountain Galichica, which is designated as a national park in which there are many so endemic species of flora and fauna, which makes my place very special. So in our village, where my project is located, it's part of national park, which make us feel very proud of to live here. We from the village from Ramne have a view to Galichica, Lake Ohrid, and the old part of the city Ohrid. Ohrid is visited by many tourists through the year, so I really expect some of them to be our guests, which are so far 3 years ago. So in our village household, together with the guests, we prepare traditional Macedonian food. In the yard around the house, we have a vegetable garden and farm with chickens, pigs, rabbits, ducks. Everything what we prepare is organic and ecological producted. There also spring water in our village, so everything we offer in to our guests is homemade. Well, my main task is to teach cooking lessons on traditional Macedonian food. So far, I organize groups with students with whom I do this. We also have rooms for rent to develop village tourism, but I really prefer to start using them for ecological village camps in which high school students will participate and learn about tradition. So my goal is to preserve tradition in this way in relation to food, because one half of our mission is to practice our tradition, but the other in the other hand, the other half is to teach someone to preserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. I think Ivana is next.
Okay, thank you. If I will read my story because I wrote it on a Word document. I'm coming from Serbia, from the north of Serbia, from the town called Sremski Karlovci. The location of my rural household is in historically very important place of our country, but also for the whole Europe. The tradition of winemaking dates back to the Roman area due to the good geographical position, and the entire province where we are located is very well known for its fantastic food. The place that evokes emotions in me is in the center of our town, which looks like you are in the 18th century, and briefly takes you completely into the past. It's very nice that I'm just following the story, or Natasha's story, because as I see, we have a very, very similar project in mind. My project is related to traditional food preservation. Also, I'm planning different cooking classes and workshops for kids and for adults. So very, very similar story to Natasha. I don't want to lose the time just to tell them more or less the same story as she has. So we will have time to speak about it. So my project is related to traditional food. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivana. So if you want, you can put the name of the,
Yes,
of the
I will.
village, of the place.
Yes,
Also
yes.
for
Thank you.
Natasha. Okay, Natasha, I see you already put it. And so Selena, you are the next one. I don't know if you are connected. Okay, if Selena is not connected, maybe someone else wants to share a story. Okay. So Selena, if you want, you can share the story. So we cannot listen to you. At least I cannot listen to you. I don't know if in the breakout room the microphone was working and now it's not working. Maybe you can just text. And the same for Federico. So Federico, if you want, you can share in the chat, since you wanted to send something written. Thank you, Federico. So thank you for the link too. So I think it's time to end the lesson. Thank you for the participation and for the stories you told us.